Reading with your kids.
Hola, ni hao, konnichiwa, assalamu alaikum, shalom, jambo, bienvenidos. Hi, my name is Jevly, and this is the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We are coming to you from the beautiful and oh so lovely neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. We are delighted that you're part of our beautiful Reading with Your Kids family. Please, please, please be sure to subscribe to the show in the iHeartRadio app, Spotify, Amazon Music, Podchaser, wherever you find your podcast. Our guest today is Nancy Chen, celebrating 101 uses for cinnamon. We're really excited to welcome Nancy to the show. We taped this interview a while ago. 101 Uses for Cinnamon is a brand new book from our friends at Familias. Nancy and I have become a buddy. She has a great Instagram page, and you definitely want to check that out. You also, please want to check out our Instagram page, Reading with Your Kids, or at Reading with Your Kids on Instagram. We have a whole lot of great things that we are posting pretty much daily. We also hope that you will check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We really haven't been talking about the YouTube channel here on the podcast, but it became such an important part of reading in the new year. We have all the episodes are published as videos on YouTube. It's just a still image with the audio there. But surprising, it's how a lot of folks love to listen to their podcast. And we're also publishing more and more performance videos and some encouragement and also some great read aloud videos. So check it out. Go to our YouTube page, Reading with Your Kids, the Reading with Your Kids YouTube page. Joining us on the line right now from Santa Monica in Southern California. She is the author of a great new book from our friends at Familias called 101 Uses for Cinnamon. Please welcome to the show, Nancy Chen. Nancy, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks.
I am so excited to learn about 101 Uses for Cinnamon. I'm, kind of like an old guy. I used to put it on my toast in the morning. And that was great, and I know it's in a couple of other things that I buy, but other than that, I've never thought of cinnamon. First off, tell us what inspired you to create this book.
Yeah, so Familias has a bunch of really awesome 101 uses for things like ginger and turmeric. Cinnamon's always been really close to my heart ever since I was super little. My mom has been using it on toast, but also it can be used for a variety of things, like from coloring your hair to even using it. I know, right? My mom was all about that, natural hair color, to using it to boost your memory. So, I remember we would have it in the morning before we had tests in school. Me and even my friends. So it was a thing that we did. But I really like the idea because my family and my mother, we are very big into kind of these alternative uses for things. And I think especially during this time right now, it's the perfect time to get crafty at home with what you have.
Uh-huh.
And kind of go into your pantry.
Yeah, I'm blown away. I mean, you saw my reaction. Cinnamon for coloring your hair. If I only had some hair that I could color with cinnamon. I'm always amazed at, going back in time and thinking, you mentioning cinnamon. There's this one dumb thing I hear that kids do, which is to take a piece of big red gum or cinnamon gum and lick it and then put the paper foil on your forehead or something, and it's supposed to be very uncomfortable. And I always think back of who was the first person to think about that? And why would they think about it? And as you're talking about using cinnamon to color your hair, I'm like, where did that idea come from? Where did the idea of taking this yummy thing and then using it to color your hair come from?
Yeah, cinnamon is a super old spice. So a lot of the uses came from just back in history. It's been used by the Egyptians, by the Greeks, by the Chinese for so many years, and they would use it in pretty much everything. So cinnamon, commonly we think of we're going to put it in banana bread. Mm-hmm. But as the book tells you, it goes through, like, you can use it to ward away insects. You can use it. It's a good antimicrobial. So if you have a cough or if you think you're getting sick, it can be a good thing to supplement with as well. It's like mind blowing.
Wow. Wow. So you could be boosting your immune system having that piece of cinnamon toast in the morning.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I'm not a doctor, so I can't I can't say that with definite advice. But the research does show that it is a good antimicrobial. So
Awesome, awesome. Well, you were telling me before we started speaking that the book is broken up into different sections. So, the obvious section is, some yummy recipes that we can put together. What's the most delicious recipe that is in the book using cinnamon?
ooh, that's hard because they're kind of all my favorites. But I really like cinnamon rolls. So the recipe in the book is, it's your classic cinnamon roll, but it's made gluten-free and with less added sugar, but it still tastes really good. I've gone through a bunch of different variations to try to get it to taste like those fluffy cinnamon rolls that we're all used to. So I'm really excited about that one.
Awesome, awesome. We'll definitely have to try that. Now, what are the other sections in the book?
Yeah, so there is a beauty section. So you'll see stuff beyond just coloring your hair. And then there's also a health section. So I think I mentioned the memory boosting, and it has a bunch of other effects where it can help with lowering blood pressure as well. So all the meaty research is in there. And then there's a home section. So from creating like Christmas tree ornaments with the cinnamon sticks, and cinnamon has so many different like forms, to using it as like a rooting agent for your plants if you're gardening.
Whoa! My wife has turned into a super gardener, but I have to tell you, we were taking the dog for a walk the other day, and one of our neighbors moved his traditionally has his garden in the back, and we kind of knew there was a garden, but he moved it to the front of his house this year. And it looks like the zucchini plants are on steroids. They're like huge and they're all over the place. And she's incredibly jealous. So we'll have to find out how using cinnamon can help her in her garden and with her gardening. That's amazing. And the memory thing, that really surprises me too.
Yeah, so the smell of cinnamon honestly can help, but there's been going beyond memory. There's been research published on how it can help with neurodegenerative diseases as well, like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Yeah, there's a ton of research surrounding cinnamon. It can be a little bit like, it depends on the dosage you take, but the general consensus is like things like, oh, if you have a test, it can help by just taking it.
Wow, that's
yeah.
This really would have helped me in high school, boy. I tell you, I had to struggle. First 2 years in high school, it was tough. Well, this is, this is kind of, from what I know about you, this is your life, is going out there and helping folks live their best lives. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I've always been kind of surrounded in this wellness space. I do marketing for food startups based on health and wellness, and I also am a wellness blogger. So really trying to provide people with these like yummy, tasty, easy recipes, but also giving you information that will help you kind of be able to make the decisions to empower your own health.
This is kind of it's a wonderful thing. There's, the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years, this real push to kind of get back to wellness and to getting people to really be mindful of their health. And it's not just, oh, gee, I put on a few pounds, I need to go to the gym and work these off. It's helping folks develop a healthy lifestyle. Why do you think that that's so important? And why do you think that this is suddenly something that's on the minds of so many people at this time?
Yeah, it's something that definitely does start when you're very young. I think that impacts like how you view this whole healthy lifestyle thing. But I think at this time, especially with COVID going on, it's more important than ever to take care of your health. And since we're all at home, that health aspect becomes something that we can really focus on and dedicate a lot of time to. But like you talked about, there's so many different aspects of health, right? It's not just like, oh, I need to lose a few pounds. It can be, the mental health aspect. It can be finding foods that are right for your body. It can be taking supplements if you need. There's just like so many different things. It's hard to pinpoint, but I like to talk about it as this like journey and this holistic view of making you feel like the best you can.
Ah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that idea, helping you feel the best you can. Because I think a lot of people get into the rut where they're just kind of settling. And it's like, I get this ache and pain, and I'm getting old, and the knees don't work, and I just have to deal with it. And we're discovering that, no, you don't have to deal with it. There are some things that you can do to really improve the quality of your life.
Yes, for sure. Like, we only have one body, so it's important to take care of it.
Absolutely. Now, you were mentioning there's some great Dyi ideas in the book. What if we're here at home and the kids' virtual school has ended, but it's not safe to go outside and play like they used to. What's something that we can pull together summertime we can do as a family to kind of brighten the house up with cinnamon?
Yeah, so there are a couple of things you can make. Cinnamon sticks is generally the easiest, like most kid-friendly thing to do because it's essentially like a craft, right? It's like a twig. You can make a coffee coaster or a tissue box cover, pretty similar in that you essentially just need cinnamon sticks, which you can buy in bulk from like Amazon or anywhere, and then some string and your typical arts and crafts supplies like scissors and glue. And you use for the coffee coaster, for example, I think that's like a little bit easier. You take your cinnamon sticks, you take the twine, and you just line them up and weave it. So it's like a little like weaving pattern. So I don't know if kids are still learning how to sew these days. I learned how to sew when I was very little. I don't remember how now, but I remember it being very therapeutic. So it's kind of the same pattern of like weaving as if you're doing it with a needle.
Cool. Cinnamon did you come to write the book 101 Uses for Cinnamon because familiars came to you and say, hey, we have this idea, we do all the series of books using other things, or was cinnamon something that was special to you? I know that your mom gave it to you before tests at school. I did remember that. But did you have more of a connection to cinnamon?
It was both. So Familius did approach me, but it was such a perfect fit because people on my like food Instagram know I'm the person that goes through like an entire container of cinnamon in like a couple months. And you can see like I sprinkle cinnamon very copiously on everything. But also I was talking a little bit about how my mom would give it to us before tests, but it just is such a strong memory because instead of using normal air fresheners, we would do this kind of like home humidifier thing where it's take a pot of water and then you throw cinnamon sticks in it and some other things. And you'll see that in the book as well, where it's these things that you can do to make your home smell nice, especially around the fall. I feel like in Boston, especially when the leaves start changing, it's such a cozy vibe of incorporating that smell of cinnamon in without using artificial things.
Mm-hmm. And Nancy's very well aware of living in Boston in the fall. She graduated from college in Boston, so she's familiar. And she ran away, went back to California. I don't blame her. I don't blame her at all. You have a really fascinating blog. You have this fierce picture of you boxing on the homepage of your blog. Tell us a little bit about your blog and the other kind of things that you do.
Yeah, so my blog kind of incorporates all the different parts. I think of my blog and what I do as kind of a mirror of the whole holistic health. So I'm a fitness instructor. I teach boxing and yoga, and I'm a personal trainer as well. So I think that physical health aspect is so important because it empowers you to feel strong. And then exercise releases endorphins, but also I think those concepts translate to pretty much every other aspect of life. I grew up playing sports. I was a competitive swimmer before becoming out into the real world. So that athleticism part is really important to me. And then there's the food aspect, because when I was in college, which was when my blog started, I was eating a paleo lifestyle, but it wasn't very big at the time. I was struggling with trying to save money, not eat dining hall food, and learning how to cook by myself. So it was really this resource intended for people looking to find quick, easy, healthy meals.
Oh, cool. And what are the response? I'm curious, what kind of response do you get from folks who are following you these days?
Yeah, it's been such a beautiful community. I built a really strong community back in Boston as well, and I've just had such a positive response of people who are like-minded in the same space and really focused on this natural holistic life.
Mm-hmm. I know you've been writing a blog. Is 101 Uses for Cinnamon, is this your first, is it your debut book?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and how does that feel?
It feels pretty unbelievable, honestly. Like, my number one dream since I was super little was to be a writer. I always thought I would publish something like a poetry book or like a novel first, but here we are. And it just ties into everything so perfectly that it makes me super happy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm wondering, now that you have the book and you are a published author with a great company behind you, is this something that you're looking to do more of in the future? Are there kids' books going to be coming to us from Nancy Chen?
I would honestly love it to maybe go into more 101 uses or even into more kids' books. I just read a really great one, actually. I don't know if you've heard of it, Mop Rides the Waves. It's a surfing life book.
We'll have to get the author on the show.
Yeah, he's great. And I honestly haven't read a children's book in very long because I'm not a child, but I do think like the author Gretchen Rubin was saying how those are her comfort reads. And I was reading this book and looking at the beautiful pictures, but like in such a short number of words, it conveys such an important message about life. And I think that in itself was really powerful, that we don't need like 300 pages of a self-help book to really get that message across. So yeah.
One of the most impactful books that I read, and I think it was given to me either when I graduated high school or college. My godfather gave me the most important thing I learned in kindergarten. I know I'm killing the title of that book, but it's a classic. And I kind of looked at him like going, dude, what is this? But it was true, like you said. It was like just some of the most important lessons in life are simple, down to earth, practical lessons, and to be able to express those lessons and messages in a short, number of words with pictures and maybe rhymes. It's a really beautiful thing, and I think it's an art that I love celebrating here on the show.
Yes, you do such a great job of it.
Well, thank you. I was pushing for that. No. What since you're here, we celebrate the fact that how important it is for families to read together and all of the benefits of families reading together. We also talk a lot on the show about the benefits of families coming together to cook together and to have those conversations. I'm sure you must have had loads of conversations with your mom growing up as you were cooking, and I'm sure that as she was telling you about having the cinnamon before your test, she was also imparting some other kind of lessons to you. Can you elaborate a little bit about that and about how important that can be for a family?
Yeah, kids are like sponges, right? Like they absorb so much, and like I still remember really strongly of these memories I would have as a child, like making bread with my mom in the kitchen and like the exact different things she would use, and even like some things like cleaning the kitchen with cinnamon and vinegar were things that I very strongly remember because I was like, I hate the smell of vinegar. But as I was researching the book, that I her doing it popped into my mind, and I was like, oh my gosh, wait, this is actually like a thing. My mom wasn't just crazy. So I think just building all of these everyday things into activities with your child is really important because those are the foundation of everything moving forward.
Yeah. And what about fitness? We don't oftentimes think about families exercising together. You know, the kids go out and play, and the parents might go to the gym, although not right now. It's kind of gross. But talk about what kind of benefits you see as a fitness expert. What benefits do you see for a family going out and doing something active together?
Yeah, there are so many benefits, especially because you build it. It's almost like a habit, right? Exercise. So by making it into a family outing, like I remember when I was little, I'd ride my bike and my dad would run alongside me, or we, since we grew up in California, we would go hiking every weekend. And it's still something that like I do with my family these days. And I like on the trails, you can see there's like parents with kids strapped to their chest, or parents like guiding their 6-year-olds along. And I think hiking is one of the best like forms of exercise if you can find a trail out there to do with your whole family.
Absolutely. I don't tell anybody this, Nancy, but I was out. My niece was over, and we gave her a pair of rollerblades. Now, I don't do rollerblades, but she was on it, and she's a great skater. And so I was out riding my bike with her. So she was rollerblading. I was biking. I was a little bit worried about her because she was new in the rollerblades and everything. And then I go, and I fell off my bike.
Oh, my God.
when I was stopped, which is really embarrassing.
Wait, how did that happen?
I don't know. I was talking to my niece. I'm like, what happened? She goes, I don't know. I was so scared when I saw you fall. But I bounced back.
Oh my gosh. That's like the ultimate irony.
I know. And it was in front of a Dunkin' Donuts. Well, you fall anywhere in Boston, you're in front of a Dunkin' Donuts. Anyways, Nancy, tell everybody. Now, people can find out more about 101 Uses for Cinnamon at the Familias website. But I also want people to know where they can find out more about Nancy Chen and all the great things that you're doing.
Yes. Thank you for leading right into that shout out. You can find me on my blog, www.nourishbynancy.com. My social handle is the same. I'm mostly active on Instagram. So at Nourish by Nancy or at Nancy Lin Chen, kind of divided it into more food wellness and then into fitness. So whatever floats your boat.
Awesome. Well, I could have used a floating boat when I fell off my boat, but we've had a great time speaking to the author of 101 Uses for Cinnamon, a new book published by our friends at Familias. The author is Nancy Chen. Hey, Nancy, I had a great time speaking with you. Thanks for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me.
Please be sure to join us for the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Our guest will be Eva Grazel. She'll be joining us to celebrate MC Plays Hide and Seek. That's the next episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. If you're the author of a great children's book, we would love to have you as a guest on the podcast. Being a guest, it's fun, it's easy, it doesn't cost a thing, and it is a fantastic way to tell thousands of people about your fantastic book. All you need to do is to go to our website, readingwithyourkids.com, click on the author's Click Here button, scroll down to where it says, be a guest, well, it only says be a guest once, but you'll be able to figure that out when you go there. Readingwithyourkids.com. Hey, we want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, we want to thank our friends at Familias for introducing us to our pal, Nancy Chen. Check out 101 Uses for Cinnamon. Also, you want to check out Nancy's Instagram page, Nourish by Nancy. It's a great, great page with lots of great tips. Also want to thank my team. I want to thank Alejandra Doherty, Fatima Khan. I want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support she gives me. I want to thank Augie the Doggy for having my back here in the studio. But most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so very much for joining us. Thank you so very much for telling your friends about the show. But most of all, thank you so very much for taking the time to make the world a better place by reading with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading with Your Kids podcast.